Hi everyone, Liam here from Simply Inspired, and today I'm going to be talking about something to do with the coronavirus pandemic. But what I'm going to be talking about is hopefully a slightly different perspective on this scenario that's unfolding before us, and it's something that I hope will be very helpful to you watching this. The subject is effectively being robbed. Now, I know that might sound a bit strange, I know that might sound a bit bizarre. What am I talking about? Well, when I'm referring to being robbed, obviously this coronavirus situation has hit quite suddenly, and it's hit on an unprecedented scale across the world. Routines have been disrupted, people are working from home, schools are off, everything's changed, and it's continuing to change at the present time. And one of the things that's important about this is many people will feel effectively robbed of their dreams at this time. So in other words, you were working towards something, you were working towards a goal, you had a scheduled routine, things were very clear and they've become unclear. The example I used when talking to someone about this recently was that it's like a mirage. If you've ever heard in the desert, when people are lost in the desert and they don't have food or water and they're sort of looking around, they can experience what's called a mirage, where there's the appearance of, say, a lake of water, and they get there, but it's actually an illusion. It's actually not real due to dehydration and things of that nature. And this is something that you've probably heard of that before, but this is the type of scenario that's happened at present time for many people, is that they were working towards something and it's taken away. So on a very large scale, something like the Summer Olympics being postponed until next year, all of those athletes obviously will get gearing up to compete, to sort of achieve their dreams, and that's effectively being taken away for until next year, which really is quite a long time if you think about it. And of course that will leave a sort of emptiness in people's lives when the shock settles of what do I do now. But it affects many people. It affects people on a smaller, more everyday scale. People have been made redundant, people have lost jobs. There are many scenarios of people wondering if they can see their children, perhaps if you're separated and something like that, can you see your children or not? And there's a lot of confusion, and this feeling of being robbed it's important to not sort of fight and push against this scenario, because in a lot of ways it's bigger than us. Now, I'm not saying that you just give up or you just pack it in and quit, absolutely not. But what I am saying is you need to take some of that energy and some of that power and even that frustration or that sadness that you might feel and push it into something else that's positive. And what you'll find is that your mood and your mental health and your perspective will all increase and become better and brighter and so on. It doesn't mean the situation goes away, and it certainly doesn't mean that it's ideal, but a person has to focus their attention on something important, because otherwise, as I mentioned earlier, that feeling of loss, that feeling of emptiness, it's almost like a sort of grief for the way things were once going over here and now they're going over here. And that is something that can be very difficult to manage, but it is very important to focus your attentions into something constructive. A lot of people will unfortunately not do so, and that's the sad thing. I mean, I suspect and certainly there's already been quite a bit of awareness of, for example, mental health declining, of drug use increasing. I've seen reports on people are worried about what will people do who are victims of, say, domestic abuse and things like that. So there's a lot of people who are stuck in downward spirals, if you will, during this process. And what needs to be done is it needs to be that people focus as much as they can on what can be done until this situation is over, because focusing on worry, focusing on loss, focusing on some of these things can be a very destructive pattern. Once again, I'm not saying to deny any of these things, but I am saying that it's important to turn your attention to something positive. There's the old saying, turn your face to the sunshine and you won't see a shadow, and that is really what's going on right now. Is the more of the fear that you focus on and things like that, the worse you'll feel, whereas the more you focus on what you can do, and to some extent the more you take things into your own hands, the better you will feel. It's a very difficult situation for many people, but I hope that what I've covered here is something that will help you in life and help you to survive this crisis internally as well as externally. So thank you very much for watching. There'll be more videos coming soon on this topic of the coronavirus and how to handle it, and on many other topics as well. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to speaking with you very soon. Thank you.